Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirit. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. It's an absolute pleasure to be here for another week with you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it here at pulsetalkradio.com. Just before we tell you what we're doing today in this week's show, I just wanted to pose this question to you all. Has everybody noticed over the past few weeks how the energies and the vibrations have been changing? I know I certainly have. I've had enforced time of rest where my guides have just sort of said, well, they haven't said it, but they've kind of put me in a situation where I've had no other option but to unwind and have periods of inactivity. And when this usually occurs for me, it means that they've got some plans coming ahead. So times of busyness, so to speak. So I've had a lot of that recently. I don't know if that aligns with anybody else where you've had those enforced times of rest. But I thought I'd put that out there. Anyway, let's tell you what's happening in today's show. So today's show, we're going to be talking about observe, the answers are all around you. Also in today's show, we have the weekly channeling, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to communicate their message through. And then later on in the show, we have your weekly energy forecast reading for this week to help navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to crack on with today's subject, which is observe, the answers are all around you. So with this in mind, what am I talking about? Well, basically, it's about being switched on, being more in alignment with the truth of who you are and understanding yourself as well, and obviously observing your outwardly surroundings as well. So first of all, in order for us to get the answers we seek, we have to, I would certainly prescribe this, and it's something that most sensitives have gone through at some point in their life, where they have to unlearn all of the teachings that they've had up until that point, that transition where they become more awake and more aware. And this can be quite traumatic in some cases because we've believed a lot of these teachings to be our truths for most part of our lives. And so with having to let those old versions, those old, what we perceive to be true, go can be quite traumatic. And with this in mind, we're having to let these elements go. This could be in any form of our life. It could be referring to our educational system, the things that we were taught about history. There's quite a level of untruths connected to that as well. It could be the way that we perceive the world, that we could have been told a lot of untruths with that as well. And focusing upon the materialistic world as well, rather than focusing on the world of energy, the dimensions of energy. So there's a lot of letting go, to do before we can become more observant. And like I say, it can be quite an emotional period because we're having to relearn things and connect with the truth and the vibration of things and experiences. So we need to prepare ourselves. The next thing we need to do is we need to check in with ourselves on a daily basis. Now, when I'm talking about this, I often tell my students, I call this the baseline check. So every day of your waking hour, what I'd like you to do is just to check in with yourself. How do you feel? What thoughts are running through your mind? Are you highly sensitive that day? Have you got any aches and pains around your physical body that maybe you wasn't aware of the day before? So just check in with yourself on a daily basis in this manner. And why we do this is because anything other than what you're feeling in that baseline check will be either an answer to a question that you want some help with. It could be the universe working through you. It could also be you picking up energy from somebody else. So I always prescribe that for anybody that's wanting to expand their awareness and obviously observe a little bit more in order to get their answers. And obviously, in order to get the answers, it's not just right under our noses a lot of the time. We've got to be more focused upon our feelings emotionally. We've got to be more focused upon the sounds that we hear or the words that stick out to us when we're maybe overhearing conversations. Also, images that we see and thoughts that we have in our mind, random thoughts that are placed in our mind. We've got to be observant of all of these things, all of these senses. Also, anything that we smell that's not necessarily there in that moment, and it comes and it evokes a memory maybe back to your childhood, which would in turn could be an answer to a question that you've posed to the universe. Also, a taste as well could come into your mouth, into your palate there, and that could again evoke a memory going back to your childhood, which again could be an answer to a question that you want. So to be aware of all of your senses, I feel it is paramount when you're observing the world. Okay, and also observe the things that you see around you in the external world that you may have taken for granted, and all of a sudden certain parts of that starts to leap out at you and you become like attracted to it a lot more. So maybe that is part of the answer that you're asking the universe for. So it pays to check in with yourself and be aware of all of your senses within your body there. Now, upon going round and your daily business and that, whether you're driving, whether you're a pedestrian, whether you travel on the bus, whatever you do, you will be bombarded with sounds, obviously, different visual stimulants such as signs, numbers. You may even see colours, really bright colours that stand out, maybe a different coloured car. Seems to be standing out more to you than it has done before. Well, that could be an answer to you in itself. So just being more observant in your day-to-day life. We all have certain habits and regimes that we follow, and so some days can feel like they blend into the same day because we're following the same. We get up, we open the door, we go to work, we come back, that sort of thing. And so it's within those moments that we need to pay particular attention to these subtle changes in those routines. So, for example, like I say, if a sign, literally a sign on a bus or something stands out to you, maybe a word within that sign leaps out to you, this is where we need to be observant. We need to either write it down if we have a pen and paper, or most of us have a digital device like a mobile phone or something like that. And I would advise you to maybe take some notes. So in your notes section of your phone there, start and write down what you've observed. Don't judge it. Don't reflect on it at this stage. Just write it down there, and it's saved then for when you have that time to look back and see what that message is really saying to you. So it's about recording all of these things that you are witnessing. And then when you have that opportunity at a later stage, maybe, I don't know, in your dinner hour or your break, or maybe when you're at home of an evening, you can look through the things that you've seen, heard, smelt, tasted, or felt throughout the course of your day. And you can start and unpack these messages, because there will be answers in there coming to you from the universe of the questions that you've posed out to the universe, what you want help with within your life. There will be lots of answers there. So you can start and dive deep. So whatever it is, look at it, but maybe look at the play on words. So for example, a play on words could be like, if you saw the word to, it has several meanings, doesn't it? To go somewhere, too much, It could be the number 2. So with all of these words or symbols that you've seen, it would benefit you by just looking at every angle, every meaning of that very thing. And then when you've got all that, write it down. And it's a case of you're a bit of a detective, if you like, and you're exploring all the eventualities of these items, these feelings, these emotions, these sounds that you've witnessed throughout the course of your day. And when you get used to this process, you don't need to write it down as much, because you can analyze it, shall I say, there and then in that moment. So why have I seen a horse? Well, a horse means freedom. Well, it does to me anyway. A horse may be meaning strength and things of that nature. You can do it relatively quick when you've changed your way of thinking and you're more open to receiving and witnessing these things in your life. So it's a great tool to have, whether you're sensitive, whether you're a medium, whether you're not, whether you're just, carrying out your day-to-day duties. It's a great tool to have, because the world of the unseen is constantly working in our favor at all times, and the mechanics that it has to adjust and align every millisecond of our day in order for us to be on purpose and on track within our life is far beyond any of our comprehension. So these little signs, these little cues from the universe are always there around us. And when we, like I say, when we re-educate ourselves, let go of the old teachings that no longer serve us, that have maybe told us half-truths of what the reality of our universe is, when we let those go and have an open mind and start and live this adventurous life where we're exploring, we're looking, we're listening, and we're being more observant, we will get the answers that we're seeking. Now, with all of this, I want to say that, like I say, help is all around us, but we need to know what to look out for. And that's why I say relearning is the key to this process. So unlearning things that are no longer serving us, that aren't necessarily vibrating with us on a truth vibration, is essential. And you will start to get a feeling, you'll know exactly when something's aligning with you, that's right for you, and there's a message in that. You may start and feel like a tingling sensation, like a goosebump sensation, when that all the dots are starting to connect. And with that in mind, that is a great indication for you to let you know that you're on the right path. The answers are there. You just need to unpack the information a little bit deeper. And so you keep on digging deeper, like I've already suggested, until you reach that conclusion, which is your answer, what you've been asking the universe. So it pays you to have that trust. And don't second guess yourself when you're going through these processes, because that can be a minefield in itself. Because when doubt creeps in our minds, we can go down this rabbit hole of, well, I don't know, ooh, it could be, couldn't be. And we could be in this cycle of procrastination, which is, in turn, it's going to just keep us treading water within our life. So it pays you to move as quickly as possible, trust the process. Don't second guess. When you've witnessed something, say, yep, I did see that. There's a meaning behind that. I'm going to write that down and I'm going to explore it. And so go on that energy train. So it moves pretty quick. So you've got to be on your toes, really, in order to work and understand that the answers are all around us. And again, it's going back to that phrase I said earlier. It's knowing how to look. And with these little techniques that I'm sharing with you will help you to do that. I say little, but in actual fact, they can be life-changing, and there's no sort of beginning or end to how long this process will take you in order for you to be more observant and witness the answers that are around you from the universe. But I'd like to give you a few examples where I've gone through this in my life. And one of them is something that I use on a regular basis, because where I live, it's a really busy street, and the parking there gets absolutely full. And you have to have permits as well in order to park here. So everybody's sort of jostling for position for a parking place near their property. And so with this being the case, what I do is I put my thoughts out to the universe and I ask for a parking space outside my home, please, upon returning home. And I just put that out there, I trust, and I drive home and I drive up the street. And I've got to say, 9 times out of 10, when I pull up near my home, there is a parking space there. I've observed it. I've asked the universe. I've observed it. And I've pulled up into that parking space and I've showed that level of gratitude and thanked the universe as well. So again, it's about asking. It's about being observant, seeing what's around, and then just accepting it. I think accepting the answer is half of the battle, isn't it, as well? Because, like I say, some of us second guess these things and we may say, oh, no, that can't be right. No, that's a fluke. That's too much of a coincidence. Well, it isn't. We're working with energy. We are energy. And so, these things, just expect that the universe will serve you in this manner as well. So that's one of the examples. Another thing, I'm sure I speak for many people that are listening. When you have become single, or you're single or whatever, and you're wanting to be in a relationship again, you feel it's the right time to move on and you feeling ready. And yet all of a sudden you feel like you're being teased by the universe by seeing lots of couples together, whether it's on the TV, whether you're out and about. You're constantly being reminded that there's people in couples, in relationships, and you're seeing it time and time after time. And if you take the old narrative, the old belief systems, now that would have sort of wound you up and thinking that somebody's rubbing your nose in it by showing you these couples and that together. But in actual fact, when you re-educate yourself and understand that actually the universe is sending you an answer to your request, it's sending you a message by you witnessing all of these couples wherever you go. It's telling you that your desire is on its way, and it's giving you a little breadcrumb along the way to let you know that actually with you seeing this more regular than not, it's getting closer for it to come into your life. So being observant, seeing the positive side of that message, removing the old belief system, and then witness as it starts to unfold into your reality within your life. So start and look at things slightly differently as well, and you'll see the blessing and you'll see the answer in that situation. So that's happened to me several times in my life when I've been in that position, and every time it's always come out that that's what was happening. It was preparing me for a relationship, and not long after, that's what happened. And so I just wanted to put that out there so that you can all maybe be more observant when you do witness that sort of thing. And if you are single, that does happen. Don't see the downside, because that will pull your vibration down. That will pull your energy down, and it will get you back into that slump of sort of treading water, not getting anywhere soon, where when you observe the universe is calling you, then you'll start to rise and things will start to occur a lot quickly. Another example I'd like to share with you as well is we've all had this at some point in our lives, feeling that we've got to be somewhere and saying to people, I don't know why, but I feel I've got to go there. I feel I've got to go to that location. And I'm just going to trust it. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to get my things on. I'm going to go. And so we've all had that at some point in our lives. Now, how many of you have experienced that the reason why you felt that is because you had to be at that place at that time for a specific reason, unknowing to you when you had those feelings. But with you trusting those feelings, all became revealed to you later on when you reached that location or destination. Now, for me, this has happened a few times. One of those times is when I felt I had to be in Bakewell in Derbyshire. I don't know why. I just thought, right, I need to go there, I need to have a day out, I need to explore, look round. It's not too far away from me either, so I didn't mind. So I trusted that intuition. And anyway, I was there. I was walking down this high street there. Pretty busy high street, lots of hustle and bustle. And there was a man walking up with his dog on a lead and just walking up. And then all of a sudden, at that split second, the dog slipped the lead and went running towards this busy main road. And I was in the same pathway as this gentleman with this dog. And so what happened is my instincts kicked in and I rushed over, caught the dog before it was just about to leap into this busy main road. So in many respects, I mean, the dog owner was beside himself, couldn't thank me enough. And to me, it was just a natural thing to do. You know, you see that happening, your instincts kick in and you want to help, don't you? And so that's what happened. And anyway, I handed over the dog to obviously the owner and put the dog back on the lead. And he was very, very thankful for that. But hadn't I have not been there and trusted that call to be there, I feel as though that dog would have gone in the road because there was nobody around me that would have been there in time to catch that dog. And so I feel that that's why I felt that call to be in that location at that time. So it's very unusual, isn't it, when we go through these? And it's usually for the greater good when you get those feelings that I've got to be there. And I don't know why, I've just got to be there. There was another occasion where I had something similar. And I believe I was in Norwich. Again, I was there for to look round for the day. And then I was staying relatively near to that location. But I thought I'll have a look round Norwich. I've never been there before. And I just felt like I was wandering around the old streets and everything. And I went down one particular street and I was just looking at the shop signs, being a new person to that environment. And anyway, the next minute there was a gentleman, an older gentleman, just walking up towards me. And at that moment in time, he tripped over like a paving stone and he went right down on the floor there. And it just came out of the blue. He was shocked. He was lying on the floor and literally I was the one that saw this and went over to him. I helped him up. I asked if he was all right. He was a bit shaken up, obviously, because you don't expect that, do you? I mean, he was a very brave old man as well, you know, a little bit embarrassed about the situation, as most people would be. But anyway, I helped him up. I made sure he was all right. And he dusted himself down and then he carried on the rest of his day. But in that situation, there was me there. There was nobody else that was coming to the rescue to help him up. People were just walking by. There was no, which I found quite unusual because for me, that's instinctual. You know, if somebody needs help, you're there. If you're there, you help them. But there was people walking by, which I found unusual. But again, another example for you to prove that I was drawn to that location. I've never been there before. I've never walked down that street before, and I was drawn to have a look down. And upon doing so, I became, shall we say, a vessel of help in some small way. So by being observant, by trusting your emotions and going with those vibrations, those feelings, you're often placed in situations, in environments that you wouldn't normally go into, but you're being called upon to be there for a reason. So I'm sure there's a lot of you that are listening today that have gone through that process yourself. Another thing that I can certainly suggest for you all to be more observant about is when you're out and about going throughout your daily duties, how many times have some of you just seen a feather, a white feather that's just appeared out of nowhere? There's no birds around. You could be indoors for that matter. There's no windows open. Nobody's trod this feather in. And all of a sudden, this feather has just appeared right before you out of nowhere. And again, to look at this from a different angle and sort of see it as actually it's the universe, the angelic realm, letting you know that you're safe, you're supported, and everything is going to be all right. But for some people, they will say, oh, we need to hoover this up. They don't see the message behind it. So by re-educating yourself, like we said earlier, and being more aware, being observant, and connecting with the energy of these either items, such as a feather, what I tend to do is I pick them up, I feel the vibration of them. Usually they feel quite light. Obviously feathers do, but do you know what I mean? On an energetic level, you can feel this warmth and this light vibration energy on it as well, which would indicate a higher being or the world of spirit has some sort of interaction with that item there. So that's what I do. And then I state to the universe, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for that sign. And again, showing that level of gratitude is paramount in the process as well, because it shows that you're obviously appreciative of it and you're actually adding to the universe with that gratitude. So you're making that state flow even further. Another thing is overhearing conversations. I mean, how many of us have been out doing our weekly food shop and we've had things on our mind as we're walking down the aisles, and we walk by somebody and they're talking to somebody else and they're saying the exact words that we're either thinking or the problem that we're trying to solve in our mind as we're walking by them. They're saying the exact word that we needed to hear, again, to tell us that we're on track and that everything's going to be all right. I've had that happen to me no end of times now. And again, I always thank the universe for bringing that through. And it goes back to what I was saying. When you become observant and dive a little bit deeper, not taking things for granted and just paying more attention rather than being sort of insular, then we can observe that the universe has got our back and it's always there to help guide us and support us. So there's a lot for us to think about in today's episode. I hope that's given you something to at least align with and maybe start and practice these things into your own life, and you'll start and witness the mini miracles that will occur and have been occurring around you throughout the course of your life. Only now you're becoming more aware of it. So now we're moving into the next segment of the show, which is your weekly channeling from Spirit. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's Communicators from Spirit.
I hope you don't mind us coming through, but we would like to talk to you if you don't mind. We've got a lot to say. We want to reinforce the idea of that you are love and that you are connected to one and all, to everything and everyone all around you, whether that is an inanimate object or an animal or species or plant form. We want to let you know that you are part of this great creation that is life, and it flows and it's part of love, and you are love, and we want you to know that particular ideal. We've also got a lot to say about where you're at in your lives, and a lot of you are walking around aimlessly, clueless of how to evolve and how to follow the bliss that is calling you. We want to tell you that simply be. Don't put obstacles in the way. Stop second guessing yourself and start and trust and flow with the feelings that are being given to you by the great Creator. You'll know when something's right because it will feel peaceful, it will feel beautiful, and you'll simply align with it, and you'll just have a feeling of oneness. That feeling of oneness is your indication that you're on the right track and everything's going to work marvelously for you. Now, with this in mind, there will be people that will try and offset this emotional feeling and strong high vibrational frequency between you and the great Creator, love vibration. These people are trying to find their own connection, and therefore, because you found your connection, there's an element of mistrust and jealousy aimed towards you. Now, in this circumstance, we want you to recognize that it's there, but carry on doing what you're doing, following that sense of love, ease and grace, and you'll notice that things will naturally flow in your life. You'll have a deep interest in history as well, and the true origins of where you've come from as a species. Also, you'll have an intriguing interest into your family history and wanting to know if other members of your family follow their truth and why they made the choices that they did in their lifetimes. And you'll find this fascinating. You'll also find it fascinating to watch animals and other species around you. Again, watching them, observing them, thinking in your mind, well, what made them decide to do that and what gave them that inspiration to make that decision. And again, with everything, all the animals are connected and they're following their truth, they're following their instincts. And in fact, how many times have you witnessed this? That when there's a storm brewing, in terms of the weather, you see animals moving away from it. You see animals taking shelter. This is before anything's occurred, whether this is thunder, rain or lightning or even snow. Look at the animals, they know before it comes. And that's because they're connected. They're connected to everything and they've got a greater understanding and appreciation to them. In fact, they don't think about it. It just flows through them because they know. Whereas yourself, you see, you have this intellect, this mechanical mind that overthinks, overanalyzes, and over the next few weeks, part of that mind of yours is going to be put on the shelf, and you too will be like the animal kingdom. You'll be following, you'll just be feeling that energy, and you'll know that when things are about to occur, and when things are right, they'll just be, and you'll know, and you'll act accordingly. You'll be drawn to places that maybe you're not naturally drawn to in the past, but because you've made this frequency adjustment and you've aligned with the truth of everything, which is oneness, which is divine love, then you'll just know and you'll instinctually follow that pattern there as well. You're also going to be second guessing the decisions that you've made previously prior to this transformation within your lives. And you're going to be thinking, well, why did I make that decision? Surely if I was switched on back then, I wouldn't have chose that line of inquiry. I wouldn't have chose that pathway. We say, well, it happened for a reason. And that reason is that you needed to expand your consciousness and awareness and grow. Because in fact, when you do that, you are given the opportunity to inspire and teach others by your very example. So don't see it as a bad thing. You've gone through these things in order to help a mass population of people. We'd like you to know that your physical body is about to change as we're drawing to a close in the year of 2022. What we mean by this is that you'll become, shall we say, a little bit more youthful looking. Those of you that are connecting and allowing this connection of love vibration to flow through you, you will notice a youthful look in your eyes. You'll also notice that your skin condition around your face and around the rest of your body will have a certain elasticity, that's the right word, and you'll have a glow about you. And people will notice this. It's almost as if it's like an anti-aging process that's going to be taking place, especially those of you that are connecting to that oneness, that love vibration. Whereas those, and we're not judging by saying this, but those that are playing catch up, in other words, are waiting to connect to that love vibration, are shifting those old belief systems and removing those old thoughts and doing that inner work, they will look slightly aged, slightly tired. No matter what their physical age is, they will have that look of distress, a little bit of age around their facial features. Look around the eyes, because that is a telltale sign. When you see fresh eyes and you see that twinkle
and you notice that there's a lack of, shall we say, discoloration around the eyes as well. Not in the eyes, but around the eyes as well on the skin. That's an indication that these people are following the vibration of love. So we wanted to draw that to your attention. Also notice that a lot of these people that are connected to this vibration of love will be more tolerant, more patient, more understanding, and in fact they'll be very observant, and they'll allow people to open up to them and share their truths and share their frustrations with them, knowing full well that by allowing them to do that, they're helping them to expand and grow, and in fact raise their consciousness to connect to the divine love that is available to everything and everyone in any one given moment in time. So we have that to look forward to for your 2022, moving to the end. Like we say, we're coming to the end, so we're looking in December when these processes are going to occur. Now, with this in mind, there's going to be a shift and flux in the world around you. So it will pay you to be observant and look at the world without judgment, because there's going to be a lot of pushback, shall we say, to this vibration of love. And this pushback will come in the form of frustration. It will come in the form of untruths, lies basically, coming up to the surface and being there for all to see. Now, this doesn't matter what walk of life that you're in, whether you're in politics, whether you're in healthcare, whether you're in the creative endeavors, whatever environment you're involved with, or you're observing, where you put your focus, where you're observing, you will notice that there's a lot of untruths coming to the surface, because Mother Earth and the vibration around Mother Earth, the vibration of love, can no longer hold that frequency of mistrust anymore. And so with everything evolving to that frequency of love, then it's going to release a lot of these untruths. What we say when you witness them, it will be a little bit of a shock to some of you. What we say is allow that energy to pass, allow it to flow by, and just watch it flow by. Don't give it any time or attention. Don't focus too long on it. Just observe it. See it for what it is. It's being transmuted. It's being healed. And it's being let go of. So we wanted you to be aware of that this year. There's those of you that are aware of the news reports. And by the way, we simply will advise you not to watch them. But some way, shape or form, you will hear along the grapevine that these things are occurring in your world. And so again, we tell you not to judge, just to observe, and don't attach your time, energy or frequency to these observations, okay? When you do that, you'll be absolutely fine. You'll retain that vibration of love within yourself, and you'll keep evolving into 2023. Now into 2023, there's going to be a lot of shifts, a lot of changes that are coming in. We can't tell you everything, you must understand, but what we can say to you is that you will all stand back in amazement, because those of you that are connecting to the vibration of love will start to feel in a blissful state. You'll know that what you need is always given to you if you ask, and if you're coming from that place of love and light and the perspective of everybody benefits, then you'll notice that things will flow in and through your life, including love and romantic situations. Now, we understand there's a lot of you out there that are either in flux with this. What we mean by that, you're either in a relationship that doesn't suit you, that is going against your truth of who you are, or you're in a breakdown of a relationship, or you might be in a solo artist, shall we say. You might be single. You might be thinking about a relationship, but nothing's doing at the moment. Nothing's coming in. With this in mind, what we want to tell you is the vibration of love is very potent, and you will be drawn to people, and people will be drawn to you based upon that vibration of love and truth.
So hang on in there. The right people, the soul alignments are being made behind the scenes. So don't despair. Don't ever feel lonely, because what we're saying to you is that there's some beautiful souls out there that are going to make this, shall we say, heavenly connection between the two divine people that you are. And with this in mind, love will take on a new form, greater than you've ever experienced in all of your personal lives. It will go far beyond the physical act of love, and it will extend into the universal sense of the word love. Obviously, there will be physical connections there as well, but it will be taken to a whole new level. And that level is oneness. That level is the universal mind and the universal heart. You'll have a deeper connection and you'll have a knowing. Yes, you will experience your life paths individual, because you've got soul agreements to achieve, both of you, in a relationship. However, there will be this cord of love attachment between the two of you that binds you together and keeps you on this soul journey, and so that you can tick off the soul lessons and also follow that vibration of love and ascension frequency codes that are coming in. Now, don't despair. You think that we're left the planet Earth alone, and we assure you that we have not. We're always around. And in fact, the unseen world of energy and spirit is closer than what you think, creating positive influences so that you can align. You choose to align with positive choices, you see. So we're putting those ideas, those influences into your ether, and so that becomes a dominant frequency that you can align with. And that then will become a choice. And when you make that choice, because only you can make that choice, we can't do it for you, because we can't impose on free will, but we can put those options out there. And when frequencies align, the path of least resistance, of love, of high vibrational frequency, then you will notice that you will flow in your life and changes will occur on your planet Earth. When we say changes, we're talking about positive ones within the financial sector, within the transferal of wealth, but it's going to be equally transferred. In the beginning, it will appear that it's not. However, we assure you that everybody will get their equal share, and you need to see beyond the illusion that's being played out at the moment. Don't invest in any of that energy. Instead, connect with one, connect with love, and follow those little breadcrumbs of inspiration, those choices that we're putting out there for you to consider. Follow that, and we assure that everything's going to turn out for the best on planet Earth, and you will be absolutely surprised when it does. It will open doors, avenues for you all, and you will be able to focus on what makes your heart sing. No longer will you have to go to the daily grind and make ends meet. Instead, you will be able to make hearts meet, hearts connections, love vibration, in the knowing that you'll get what you need and you'll be provided for. And so, following that tangent of love, why wouldn't love provide for you? So we want you to all start and think in that way of being, and you'll notice whether you own your own home, whether you're renting, whether you have a car, whether you don't, these things are going to change within your life for the better. You'll feel more secure. You'll feel that you have more sense of freedom. And in fact, at the moment, you're observing that a lot of those untruths are coming to the surface. Those, shall we say, that iron fist that's squashing down, that's trying to stop your freedom. You're observing that at the moment, but that is not the truth. That is just the untruths coming to the surface, and you're observing them.
So, like we said earlier, although you're observing them, let them pass, let them flow. Don't invest any time whatsoever into that narrative. Instead, know that you'll get what you need as you focus on that vibration of love and light. So we hope this little talk has been of some help to you today. It's been a pleasure to come through, and we'd like to leave all our love, healing and blessings with you. Before we do go, we just have another communicator with something to offer you. So goodbye for now, and we'll speak to you very soon.
Hello. We hope you don't mind, but we've got one thing we'd like to say to you, and that thing is that you are all going to be absolutely fine and dandy when you start and vibrate to the frequency of love, like the past communicator has just, shall we say, outlined in their discussion. We want you to know that to be mindful and look out for the date of the 12th of December, or around that time in December, as these times are particularly influential to you. So that's all we have to say to you at this time. Thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure to come through in such a short manner, and we'd like to communicate with you in the future. In the meantime, stay strong, stay connected to love, feel that vibration in your heart, and feel that sense of ease and grace in every aspect of your life, and you'll know that you are on that frequency of love. Goodbye for now, my friends. Take care.
What a beautiful communication from the world of spirit there, and those two communicators that have come through this week. I really enjoyed them reaffirming that we're all connected by the vibration of love, and following our bliss, and just simply trust in those vibrations of that. It was very interesting hearing them say that we're going to be very interested in history, and we're going to observe life a little bit more and see greater depth in that, as well as looking at people in the eyes and noticing that youthful expression and look in their eyes will give us that indication that they are following their bliss, they are connected to love. And no matter what their age is as well, it's going to help their age slow down with following that vibration of love. Also, the untruths coming to the surface and witnessing those and what to do about it when we witness them. I thought that was all fascinating content this week. As you can probably hear in my voice, I'm a bit overwhelmed listening back to that because I don't remember the channeling at all. So fantastic. So we're going to move on to your weekly energy forecast next. So if you want to sit back, relax, grab a pen and paper, take notes, here is your weekly energy forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday the 5th of December 2022. Now, those of you that have watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers and also consult the wisdom of the angel tarot cards. So I'm going to shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out for this week's energy forecast reading. And again, right on cue, one has just done that. So here is your card for this week's energy forecast reading. I'm now going to link into the energy of that. Okay, well, first of all, this week is going to be a little bit slower for you, giving you that time to reflect on what you've gone throughout your year of 2022. You're going to be needing to be more resilient than ever. And as a result of that, you're going to be witnessing, by slowing down, witnessing some wounds, old wounds coming to the surface. Now, when I talk about this, I'm referring to emotional ties that you've had with either people, places, situations over the last 12 months. And this is happening for a reason. It's a form of clearing, it's a form of releasement and healing all parties involved as well. Preparing you for the year of 2023. This is a necessary integral part for you for this year, as it's going to help you come to terms with certain realities that you've maybe swept under the carpet about yourself, basically. So you've got to learn to embrace that element of yourself and also forgive that element of yourself for whatever reason you need to be doing this. And you'll find that whatever you're doing with your week this week, that there will be a slower pace about it, giving you that time to assess and rejuvenate your energies ready for 2023. I do feel that there will be a change in your sleeping habits as well this week, as you will find yourself, I know we're in the winter months, but you will find yourself going into that slumber state where again, you're needing to get your energy reserves up, ready for the year of 2023 coming in. As I do feel next year is going to be a very fruitful one for you all, and you're going to be increasingly more busy, and you're going to have to be more alert as well, not just with your physical senses, but also with your spiritual senses as well, anticipating change before it actually comes in. This way you'll be ready and willing and able to embrace the new version of you into next year. But I want to say that over this week as well, you'll be finding that you'll be hearing different frequencies coming in and out of your ears. Now, what I'm talking about is those of you that have ever traveled on a plane or something like that, and your ears are popped, and then you hear a high-pitched frequency tone. I feel as though you're going to be experiencing that this week. And this is because the energy shifts are changing around you and the vibrations are getting higher. And so you're going to be receiving some downloads coming in from the universe in order to prepare you for your role in 2023. There's a lot of emotion that needs to come out over this week, and I feel as though it's going to come out in drip form. So in other words, it's not going to all come out at once. But with that being the case, you're grateful of that, because it's giving you that time to reflect, to send that love and healing to all parties involved, including yourself in the mix, because after all, you know, you have got to forgive yourself for whatever it is that you're going through, and show yourself that care and compassion that you need. So I'm going to turn the card over, and at the top of the card we've got 2 of water. So I'd like you to research the angel number of number 2, as I feel that that will offer you some additional support and information. Water to me would represent emotion, and we spoke about that, releasing those emotions and letting go as well. It also represents going with the flow, like water would flow. Allow this process to happen with your clearing, with your emotional clearing and healing this week. At the bottom of the card, it says partnership, commitment, reconciliation. With this in mind, I feel as though it's talking about you and your higher self, that partnership that sometimes does get disconnected. The part of you where you hear that call, but you're not necessarily listening. You're saying to yourself, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. That higher core sees the greater picture, and it's wanting you to listen more. So that partnership, I feel, is with the higher self this week. Also, commitment is obviously committing to that connection to your higher self, listening to that wisdom coming in rather than ignoring it and then blaming everything and everyone when things don't necessarily happen for your best. So start listening and start trusting in the wisdom that you're getting. And reconciliation represents also taking ownership, I feel, of your choices that you've made throughout your course of 2022. And by doing this, sending that love, sending those blessings and gratitude and appreciation, that's going to help you shift those cords that have been holding you back partly through this year. So watch out for that. I'm going to look into the artwork of the card, and as you can see, there's like a blue and a green around the edging. To me, that represents the heart chakra. It also represents growth. It also represents emotion and emotional healing. So with this in mind, I feel as though your heart is going to go through a process of healing, and you're going to grow. You're going to be more resilient, more stronger from having those reflective moments in your week this week. It's going to allow you to embrace the new version of yourself coming out of the chrysalis, so to speak, in order to flourish in preparation for your year of 2023. Now, as you can see, there's a masculine and energy. There's a masculine and female energy on the front of the card there. So that represents the balance within your life of taking your power back, but also honoring your sensitivity and having it in equal measure. When your life does feel out of balance, then you need to address both these elements within your life as well. As you can see, they've got 2 cups there as well. That would represent caring is sharing. So share some of your emotions that you're going through, and don't do this in a negative way. Share some of the lessons that you've learned from your experiences. And in turn, this is going to help a lot of other people to navigate their way through this week. And they'll feel comfortable in sharing with you once you open up first. It's giving them permission. So watch out for a lot of interactions like that this week. But it all stems with you taking ownership, responsibility, and also doing that inner work, that clearing work. But this week sees some beautiful changes for you. Again, you're going to be wearing your heart on your sleeve. You're going to be communicating about your emotions, and you're going to be more open to letting them go. And nature is always a great tonic for you to embrace these changes. It's a great healer, nature is. So if you do get the opportunity to go out and spend some time in nature, this will speed the process up, and you can release those old energies back into Mother Earth, and you'll feel refreshed and rejuvenated as a result of you doing that as well. So that's what I'm picking up for you for this week's energy forecast. I do hope that resonates with you. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting, and sharing. It is very much appreciated by my spirit guides and myself as well. If you've enjoyed what you've seen on here today and you would like a one-to-one private reading with myself, or a 12-month recorded forecast reading, or even a spirit-channeled psychic art drawing of your spirit guide and the information, then please contact me at my website, and the link is above, which is www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium. I do have a radio show that happens every Monday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on pulsetalkradio.com, and the show is called From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, and the show is about all things spiritual, paranormal, self-help, and there's also a channeling from spirit in the show, and there's also your weekly energy forecast reading in there as well. So if that's something that you like, tune in at 4 p.m. on pulsetalkradio.com. In the meantime, everybody, have a blessed week, whatever it is you're doing. Sending all my love and healing to you and your family. God bless and take care. Well, there's a lot to think about this week, isn't there, with all that information? So I do hope it helps you in some small way. Thank you again for tuning in to this week's show. I really do appreciate all of your interactions. And with that in mind, if you have any show suggestions, any ideas, or any paranormal stories or self-help development stories that you wish to share with the listeners, or in fact, if you'd like to become a guest on the show, then please contact me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or my email address, glennboddice@live.co.uk. It will be wonderful to hear from you. And also, if you don't want to come on the show, and you're happy for me to read out that content, then I would be more than happy to do that and share that with the audience. So please bear that in mind. So whatever it is you're up to this week, I wish you a successful week ahead, and maybe consider the information that came through in this week's energy forecast by taking that time out and doing that self-reflection this week as well, and allowing yourself to heal in preparation for 2023, because by the sounds of things, we're all going to have a very busy and fruitful year ahead, aren't we? So with that in mind, enjoy your rest and recuperation this week, whatever it is you're doing. In the meantime, I'll see you at the same place, same time, Monday, 4 p.m. on pulsetalkradio.com. Take care, everybody. God bless. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to Glenn Boddice spiritual medium